Hey, beautiful friends, it's Catherine here from Sacred Heart Alchemy and Divinely Inspired Feminine Leaders. So one of the things that I have been hearing from women in particular, although I'm sure it's not exclusive to women, and particularly women in midlife, but again, not exclusive to women in midlife, is this idea that I'm stuck, right? I'm sort of at this place in my life. I've played all of these roles. I once saw something, it was like good daughter, good student, good wife, good mother, good grief, right? And so many women have shared with me something that sounds like, I don't know who I am anymore. And then sometimes there's even a deeper reflection that sounds like, I'm not even sure I've ever known who I really am, right? We take on all of the rules and the roles, the persona of that which we were taught will be the most acceptable, the most likable, the one that will keep you the safest. Sorry, I've got some landscaping going on in the next complex. And we play out these roles and very often don't have the space, don't have the bandwidth, don't have the capacity even in our nervous system or the safety within our environment to really explore who we are. Who do we come into this world to be? What are our natural gifts? If we had time to dream and just, watch the clouds go by and really feel like we could do anything in the world, what would we have chosen? And maybe you would have chosen the same things, some of the same things, all of the same things that you have chosen up until this point, but perhaps you might have chose differently if it felt safe to do that, if it felt acceptable to do that, if there wasn't family pressure or religious pressure or cultural pressure to do things a certain way. So we get to a point in our life and we begin to ask the question, who am I? What did I come here to do? Where's the part that's really me? And the things that often get us stuck, right, are the old programming, the old limiting beliefs, the old neural pathways and the way that they've been created over this lifetime. Perhaps it's energy and patterns that we have brought in from another lifetime, if that's in your belief system. But certainly we know that we carry the ancestry of our DNA. So if our ancestors, and trust me, all of our ancestors have gone through some of this at some point in time, right? War, famine, well, I'm just thinking of Hawaii, being in an environmental situation where weather-related events cause us to have to flee where we are. Or maybe colonialism has done that, right? I'm thinking of native populations. And certainly women in many, many generations, once the patriarchy began to exert its control over the more goddess, earth-focused matriarchy, women have faced persecution, suppression, being forced into this version of a good woman or this version of a bad woman, right? The Blessed Mother or the whore. Those were kind of, as a Catholic girl growing up, those were kind of my choices. I could be a virgin or I could be a whore. There was no place in between for healthy exploration of sexuality or sensuality. Anyway, I'm going on and on. But I was just driving back from a visit to a chiropractor who is working on my shoulder, where I have been recently dealing with some acute bursitis, but this pain and bursitis in my shoulder is chronic. I mean, I can remember getting cortisone shots in the shoulder probably back in my 30s. So it's been with me for a long time. And he's not doing chiropractic work. He's doing, you know, sort of those electrical impulses and also acupuncture, right? So he's doing some needling. So this was only my third session. And the first couple sessions, you know, certainly I could feel when he cranked the machine up and cranked it up and cranked it up, and I could feel the pulsing and a little bit as he was putting in the needles, but nothing, you know, nothing sort of extreme or like, whoa, that was really a thing. But today, in my third session, that did happen, where once, you know, he turned it on and then, you know, he leaves the room for 10 minutes or so. And I had so much movement in the muscles, in the musculature, and I'm sure in the meridians in this right shoulder and arm, that it was not alarming, but it was so much more than I had felt in the first two sessions. It was sort of like, wow, that's wild. And the image that I had was that the first sessions, you know, my body was sort of getting maybe loosened up. Maybe there was some shifting or some movement happening, but really today it felt like the first day where the energy, where whatever has been stuck, whatever dense, contracted energy has been held in this part of my body, felt like it really started to move today. And it occurred to me that that's exactly what we do in tapping, right? We tap on the acupuncture points, on the meridians, on the lines of energy that run through our body and either aliven us or make us feel stuck or contracted or in pain or, you know, unable to have a full range of motion. And so, you know, the parallel with EFT and tapping was so strong that I wanted to just jump on and speak to that, because you may have seen, if you're on my mailing list, or maybe I may have sent you an invitation to the event that I'm starting, specifically a 5-part series on tapping to release limiting beliefs. And it is primarily focused on the limiting beliefs that are most present for women, right? Again, you know, the socialization, the patriarchy, all of the things have created almost across the board for women in some degree or other these 4 limiting beliefs. I'm not enough, or I'm not good enough. I am unworthy or undeserving. I need to do it myself and not ask for support. And either, and this is kind of the flip side of the coin, either I feel invisible or it doesn't feel safe to be visible. And I see that a lot in women who are aspiring to make a bigger difference in the world, right? Whether you're a coach or a consultant or a therapist or a teacher or someone in healthcare, someone in the wellness field, and or spirituality healers, right? All kinds of energy healers who want to make a bigger impact in the world, who want to shift the narrative, who want to step out of this place of feeling stuck or not being able to follow their dream because of these old limiting patterns and beliefs. So we start tomorrow, Saturday, August 12th at noon. It's online, and it's a 5-part series. So we'll start on Saturday, and then we'll run Tuesday, Thursday, and then Tuesday, Thursday of the 2 consecutive weeks. Noon tomorrow, 7 p.m. the other nights, Eastern time. And all of the sessions will be recorded. So I would love it if you could join us live. but they will be recorded and held in perpetuity so that you can, even if you are with us live, you can always go back and review them. Or if you can't be with us live, they're always there for you to do in your own time, at your own pace. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, I just had that like ding, you know, when something just goes off in your mind and it makes perfect sense and it just flows. And I wanted to get on and share that analogy with you, having just had that experience of energy that had been trapped, right, and stuck and not moving and causing pain and lack of my full range of motion and not being able to do things that I love to do, you know, yoga, or I was wanting to learn, you know, paddleball. I used to play tennis, so I was going to, you know, do the older people's version of that this summer. And even just the small things of going through every day, picking up a cup of coffee, or going to reach for something and having that shooting pain down my arm. Contracted energy shows up in so many ways. And EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, aka tapping, is one of the best modalities I have been trained in. And trust me, I have been trained in a boatload of modalities over the last 30 years. And for me, tapping was like, it was the perfect blend between talk therapy, which as a, you know, I'm a therapist. People come to me because they want to talk about their problems and they think that talking is going to help solve their problems. And I figured out pretty quickly after going into therapy that talking wasn't enough because we were just using our cognitive mind and we weren't dropping below the surface to where all the real stuff is, right? So it's the perfect blend between talk therapy and energy work, because emotions are energy in motion. And when they're not in motion, when they're stuck, we have all kinds of imbalances in our system, mentally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. So I think you get the point. The class starts tomorrow. I would love to have you join me. If you haven't seen the link anywhere else, I will post it again below. Even if you can't make tomorrow, as I said, you can always start with us Tuesday and Thursday of next week. Everything will be recorded and you know, available to you to work with on your own time. But as always, I love to have you live because that's where you get to ask questions, maybe get into the love seat, where if you have a particular issue, we can tap on that if you're willing to sort of be a little, you know, sit up there in front of everybody else and have your issue delved into a little more deeply. All in love, all in a safe container. There's no harshness here. There's no judgment here. There's no you shoulda, coulda, woulda here. None of that. Just meeting you exactly where you are in your space with compassion and acceptance, because that's what EFT is, right? Even though this thing happened, I deeply love and accept myself and all my feelings. So that said, have a beautiful rest of your day. What a gorgeous day we're having here in Connecticut. Might even get out to see some live music tonight on a Friday night. That hasn't happened almost all summer. So have the rest of your beautiful day and your weekend. And I do hope to see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern online. I'll put the link below. Okay, bye now.